it's, to me, kind of funny how there's just so many different kinds of people in the world, and you have these characters that are like very flat and monotone and like can stay equilibrium during really chaotic events, and they, that's just their personality. And then you have other people who experience multitudes on a consistent basis, and people call that like mental illness. Oh, you're a bipolar, you're swinging, and I understand that there's definitely not beneficial traits when experiencing those kinds of mental illnesses. I just don't like to ascribe to it because the fabric in which this society was created is kind of a scam, and it, the fact that humans like naturally wouldn't live this way otherwise, I feel like the rise in mental illness is a byproduct of that. But it's like, some people just have the capacity to experience multitudes in a day. It's just like, and sometimes they can contain it, sometimes they don't. And it may be intense for people who are not in touch with necessarily all of the emotions at once, which I understand. It can be a lot for people who are like, I just want to chill and have fun and blah blah blah. And like, there's that aspect too, because like, obviously, if you're experiencing a full range of emotion, you're experiencing happiness, sadness, all of it. And I guess it is beneficial to sort of stay consistent, right? But like, if you genuinely think about it, really nothing in life is consistent. Like, the illusion of control and stability can be wiped out literally any minute. And that's, I feel like it's like training in a way, like being able to express certain emotions, anger, sadness, or whatever, because all feelings are valid is the thing, and like, are indicators for where we are. And like, this world is duality, so you can't, I mean, I genuinely believe there's not a soul alive that hasn't felt anger or sadness. I don't think that's the point in life, to just continuously be happy. I think it's to experience a full human experience. And like, for like monks and stuff, that journey is enlightenment and that state of bliss and peace and stuff. But even them, on the inside, truly no one knows what's happening, like, with anyone. Because even those people who are like flaccid and just like, yeah, cool, whatever, yeah, blah, blah. On the inside, they're probably experiencing worlds and realms that, like, they just don't know how to express, or they just don't feel comfortable expressing, or they don't feel the need to express for whatever reason. And I just want to say, like, we can express emotions, and for people who have dealt with severe trauma in their life, like, knowing how to regulate yourself and your thoughts is a key component in like able to sort of regulate your emotions more so than if you're just like flying off the handle unhinged. And I'm learning not to judge myself for certain actions because, you know, they definitely did help me survive scenarios and situations. And, you know, though it may not be helpful in every scenario, it was at one point effective in getting like a need met or helping me feel safe. So just trying to like be less judgmental with myself and others and understand that like I don't feel that anyone is truly bad. I mean, aside from like people who harm children. But I think that's because my own, you know, all of our inner children are hurting. So that's like a reflection of myself in a way. But, you know, it is really interesting to look at. And like, you know, looking at the things that we do judge. Why do we judge it? Because it's part of us and we don't like it. Yeah. So, like, bringing it back to emotions, it's like being able to accept even really shitty thoughts and emotions and behaviors of ourselves kind of allows us to give grace to other people. You know, I mean, I hope so. I hope it can come to like a consensus that like human beings are not perfect. I mean, I think that's a generally well accepted fact. But, you know, yeah. So it's having that introspection and self-awareness and self-analysis. And like people will ask me like, why are you always trying to analyze yourself? Just like be happy, be present, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we are not the same. There's definitely moments of happiness in my life, and I can be happy that I'm diving deep into these. That's the thing of like when you're multifaceted in the way that you feel, you can feel rage and joy at the same time, and then your mind is like, how? And then you're like, blah, but like, you know what I mean? Because there could be a deep part of you that's like proud of yourself for expressing your anger or for defending yourself or expressing your sadness and being vulnerable. Like those things are powerful, you know, even acknowledging jealousy, you know, being able to reclaim that and say, yeah, I was jealous of this person or what have you, like being able to see it and acknowledge it is like huge conduit for transformation. And yeah, being able to hold space for multiple emotions at the same time is kind of intense. It's intense, but possible. And when you learn how to master it, it allows you to connect with people more in a way. And if we, you know, judge ourselves and isolate because we feel like certain emotions are not okay to express in front of others, I feel that is a reflection of a collective wound at some level, because we're way more connected than people think. And if you feel it, chances are somebody else feels it too. And when we talk about it and we express it, we're like, damn, we're not alone. We're going through this At the same time, it may be different, but we're feeling it. Everybody's feeling it, you know? And again, like building bridges and like connecting things instead of trying to compartmentalize, judge, and separate them. And like, yeah, like sometimes isolation is necessary. Sometimes isolation puts you deeper in the pits because you have all this stuff and you're trying to heal like relational issues internally by yourself, and you need a relationship to do that, a relationship with yourself and like, I don't know, reflections of others. I'm a firm believer that human beings are definitely a collective species, and I totally understand there's those like, you know, hermit monk archetypes that need to go like be in the forest for eons to achieve that. I'm not one of those characters, but I acknowledge that that exists and that there's so many different ways to live. I just like to shine light for myself and like talk about my experience with the ever unfolding fan of spectrum of emotion. Like, yeah. And you know, we get into judgment again. Like, that's what just happened, right? I was like, am I mentally ill? I would never, personally, I don't align with medication because I don't truly think you can fix something with something you have to depend on for your entire life because you have a chemical imbalance, which actually stems from the gut and like your gut health. You know, that's where emotions come from, is your gut. So yeah, I don't ascribe like, not that I'm not saying mental illness isn't real, okay? I'm just saying that like it's not permanent. It doesn't have to be forever. You know, the body and the mind and the soul have the capacity to heal itself. I truly believe that. Like, it's why when we get cuts and bruises, like our body just does it naturally. You know what I'm saying? The mind and the heart and the soul, that requires conscious work on our part. But like our body, for the most part, muscular is different, but like, you know, physical abrasions and yeah, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense or if I'm just rambling, but yeah, I'm thankful that I get to experience the ever flowing emotions of life, but I would also like to have that centered, rooted connection in myself, so I'm not pulled by the emotions of others and actions of others. But let your fucking anger out, bro. Because if not, woo, when it finally pops, it's gonna be woo, you know. And just try not to judge yourself for being angry or sad or anything in this world. You know, they say only God can judge us, but I don't even know if God judges us like that. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. But I hope that this world and this life Now we're gonna affirm some shit, right? I hope that this world and this life can come into balance. I pray that this life and the humans on it can come into true balance with nature and cultivate the true essence of how human beings are supposed to live, so that we may live in harmony with God, with nature, with everything. You know, I really set that intention for the future of humanity, for the future of all children in the world. May they feel safe to play and explore without fear of being harmed by adults and other children, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Or, yeah. May they feel safe. And may all wounded adults come to peace and wholeness within themselves and acceptance of what has happened in their lives, so that they can move forward and use it as building blocks of strength and pick themselves up. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard, like, you know, my dad always used to affirm life is hard. And dude, the last time he said that to me, I was in a post-traumatic stress episode, and I fucking was like screaming at him, like, don't affirm that to me. That is not my reality. I do not want, like, no. Life can have its challenges, but it doesn't have to be this solid clump of fucking shit or earth, you know? Not that I'm saying earth has its, you know, but I want like soft, delicious soil that I can plant some papayas and mangoes in, you know? The rocks serve its purpose too, but I don't want my life to be that. I want my life to be like soil, fluid, porous, absorbing, growth inducing, you know? And rocks grow crystals, so there's that too. If you want to be a rock, be a rock. But I just personally want to be soil. And yeah, just being mindful of what we speak into existence. I'm learning, and it's a practice because we get caught up in the mind a lot and the work up here. But it's like, so that's all I wanted to speak on. Thanks for being.